All right, guys, so I've recently jumped on the digital train, the big hype about going digital. Most manufacturers are making digital drones these days. And if you've experienced these DJI goggles, this is the V2, you know that these things are pretty awesome, guys. But the fact of the matter is, most of my drones are analog. I have like 5 or 6 or 7 drones that's all analog, and I have only one drone here that's digital. So the fact of the matter is, when I go to fly, I'm rarely using these goggles. So what's the solution? Should I go ahead and buy 5 or 6 of these DJI Air units and put them in my drones? Maybe if you have deep pockets, but is there another way? Well, today we're taking a look at the Digidapter V2 by BDI, and this might be the solution for all our problems. Let's take a look. All right, so this is the Digidapter V2, as I said, by BDI, British Drone Industry. And this is the second version or second iteration of this module here, or this adapter. What this is this lets you use your analog module and use it in conjunction with your DJI goggles. So as I said, this is the second iteration of this, and they've made some subtle but pretty important changes to this one in comparison to the first one. Now, the first one was really well known, really well received, and it was really nice as far as fit and finish. Quality was good. But they did some upgrades to this. You have 6S compatibility. So now this has a higher voltage or a higher input voltage. You also have standby mode, and you also have cable management. So in this case, you can put your receiver module off if you're not using analog drones, and you also have better cable management. So the first one was really well, but a little sloppy with the cable management here. Now these things are hard to get, surprisingly. I don't know if supply is low, or maybe people are finding out more and more about this adapter here, but for a minute there, you couldn't get these things. So once they were back in stock, I jumped on it and got on the, well, analog train. Okay, anyways, where's my knife? Use this. Cool, and you have a little tamper-proof seal here again. So let's open this up again, and let's open this thing. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty awesome, guys. You have this nice BDI branding, a bag in here. Anyways, so that means you have a carrying pouch here, and most likely you won't be using this once you install this. So I could use this pouch for other things like batteries, I don't know, when I'm traveling. Pretty nice touch though, really nice suede. And this is the actual adapter here. You have some cables. This looks like, I don't know, this is your feeder cable here. Here's your power cable, and it has a Y adapter in here, and we'll talk about that. You have some hardware here to, I guess, keep the cables well managed. And then you have another adapter here. You have a wrench with 2 screws, and that's important. And that's it. You have some silica gel, which is good for keeping moisture out of the product. Let's take a look at what's inside. All right, and that's it. It's empty. Let's see this. It's very light, guys. Now, the specs say this thing is around 34 grams or so, and it feels significantly lighter than that. So this shouldn't add much weight. I'm sure once you add your receiver module in here, it might add some weight to your goggles. On the side here, I can see the 2 ports here, power and then I guess video, and then you have the button here. And this was the big change that they made to this version, was adding this little button here so you can power on and off your receiver, so that once you power your goggles, this receiver here isn't just running and getting hot, consuming your battery. On the back here, you have all the components. You have this ribbon cable here and the 2 components here that they use to make this whole thing here works. This is pretty cool. Other manufacturers have made something similar to this. Some of them isn't as neat, and you have others that are very neat, but you know, you have to go really deep into your goggles to change and do some soldering, and that could potentially void your warranty, or you could just damage your goggles. This is a really, really good alternative to the others, and it's a good balance of just, you know, affordability and quality. So it's pretty simple. All we're gonna do here, there's no instructions in the box here, guys. So we're just gonna do this, I guess, based on common sense. We're just gonna unscrew this here, remove this faceplate here. This doesn't do anything, this is a cover. And then this cover just goes on here. Very similar color, so it matches the original look of these goggles. And then we're just gonna wire this whole thing up, guys. Whoa! All right, the first thing I wanna do here is just remove this plate right here. And you have the included wrench right here. That's fine. I'm just gonna use my tool that I have here, my little socket wrench, and just remove these 2 screws. Whoa, that was quick. Now, obviously, this new adapter is a little bit thicker. Obviously, it has to accommodate the actual receiver modules, so it is recessed a little bit higher up, and therefore these original screws aren't going to work with the new adapter, but that's fine because we have included longer screws in here with the kit. All right, so that's unscrewed. Let's just pull this off, and as you can see, this is some kind of alloy. It feels like aluminum, which is pretty cool. Didn't know they used that, but it is pretty light. And it's as easy as just slapping this bad boy here on, and it just falls into place. Now, obviously, we need to use the longer screws. The short ones that I said before isn't gonna work. So let's just use the longer screws that they included, which is very wise of them to include that in there. All right. So before I tighten this down, just want to make sure everything is in the position that I want it. And it kind of falls into place. It's like a little puzzle piece, so it just goes in there. Don't want to over tighten this. All right, that feels snug enough. And guys, look at this quality. It looks like it was made for this. I mean, it was made for this, but I mean, it looks very OEM-ish. Is that a word, OEM-ish? But it looks like it came this way from the factory. So that's a really cool thing. That looks good, and we're done. No, not really, we're not done. So let's just tear these things open. We gotta put this in here. This is your power cable. And as I said, they've made some really good improvements on the second version of this. Obviously, there's like a 45-degree curve. So now it really hugs the goggles here a little bit more. And then your second cable goes into the power lead for the goggles, or the port for the goggles, and you can see it's looking already neat here. All right, so here's the next cable here, 45-degree bend on each side. Looks good. And this one just goes in right here as well. So next thing here is just to get these little clips and make sure they're mounted in the right place. And I gotta figure that out. That's probably the hardest part of this whole thing, is how to install these clips. The hardest part is this little clip right here. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. And we're just gonna hook it in here and see if that works first. I think that's how it goes. Oh man, that's crazy. Hopefully you guys can see that. It just clips in between the bracket and then the strap right here, and pretty cool. All right, so I just want to make sure that these wires look the part. It's funny just watching yourself struggle with this stuff, but it's looking good thus far. Now I have to just put these clips on here to keep these wires together. I mean, this thing works. All right, guys, what do you think? Is it neat enough? I think it's neat enough. Now you just put the power right here, and you're off to the races here. This thing looks pretty good. All right, guys, so this thing here is fully assembled. Looks really, really nice. Really, really neat, guys. I can't stress how neat this looks. If you have the first version of this and you're saying, well, I don't wanna, it works pretty well, and I don't wanna pay another 60 to 50 bucks for a new version 2 here, they do sell just this wire management kit by itself. I will leave a link down for the wire management kit, and also for the V2 as well if you want the whole thing here. So anyways, guys, this thing here is pretty cool. This was just my unboxing, the installation, and the first impressions. Next thing here is to try this out and see how this goes. And the biggest question is, what module am I gonna use for this? So that's gonna be revealed in the next video. And yeah, guys, hopefully this thing works pretty well. So yeah, guys, what do you think about this British drone industry adapter here? It looks pretty cool in my opinion. Hopefully it performs well and there's no real snags. So if you have any questions or comments about this adapter, leave them down below. I'll be happy to answer those. And while you're there, please consider subscribing to the channel. Therefore, you'll be notified whenever I do drop a new FPV and the part 2 of this video, where I include my module in here and go for a test flight. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.